The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were a massively successful property for a long while until they went ultra woke. First, Michael Bay desecrated the Turtles with his disgraceful films.
The mask. See? Don't freak out.
No! God! No!
Next, we got a dumpster fire cartoon for freaky Discord users, and it race swapped April O'Neil. And then, we got the final nail in the coffin with the garbage animated movie Mutant Mayhem.
What the fuck?
But first, we have to look at the real Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Turtles have always been legendary. We had one of the best panel-to-screen adaptations with the excellent 1990 movie. We also got the first cartoon, which I'll admit was pretty kiddie at times, but it did help bring the Turtles to people of all ages. The 2003 cartoon is probably the most comic-accurate take we've ever seen, and it kicked an insane amount of ass.
Let's dance.
The underrated 2007 animated movie is also amazing. All of these versions of these characters are beloved, and for good reason. But for me, the original Mirage Comic is the definitive version of the TMNT. In 1984, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird created and self-published the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Of course, this comic would go on to be a long-running series, but it was originally only meant to be a one-shot, and it really does show because they put everything into this one issue. The story is perfectly structured, filled with groundbreaking fight scenes. The art is masterful, blending a sort of independent cartoony style with a Frank Miller inspired gritty brutality. Speaking of which, Miller was a massive influence on this comic. The narration reads like something straight from a Daredevil comic, and the badass samurai element definitely comes from Ronin and Wolverine. But do not be confused, this is an extremely unique comic that is a love letter to Frank Miller, not a cheap imitation like we'd see with all the edgy 90s comics. Like if I have to listen to a cringy 90s character like Spawn say the words "bad move" one more time, I swear to God, I might just snap. Frank Miller was doing this gritty dialogue long before any 90s comics, and so was the TMNT. There's so many awesome moments and lines in this first issue alone. The Foot, who are an obvious tribute to the Hand, are a real threat, and the Shredder is also a great villain. This comic from the first page has the Turtles as cold-blooded, deadly ninjas, dropping kick-ass one-liners and cutting down scumbags in alleyways without hesitation. I've heard people freaking out calling this a parody of grim and gritty comics, and that is a crock of bullcrap. Yes, at times this doesn't come across entirely serious, but for the most part it's undeniably just another badass comic from the 80s. People love attaching the word parody to things, and for some reason they never give up, and it's because they can't accept the fact that maybe the thing they're attaching satire to is actually being serious. Just like this channel, I can talk about these old comics for full videos, but these nutjobs still find a way to try to call it parody or satire. The Turtles aren't some big parody of Frank Miller. Maybe just accept the fact that they're badass. Anyways, if you're a TMNT fan like myself, you'll know the iconic end of story Shredder duel. But in my personal opinion, it was best done in this first issue. Following a vicious battle with the Foot, the Turtles are all bloodied up, but the Shredder doesn't give them time for their wounds to heal. Shredder hacks the absolute crap out of these four brothers, but then, at their lowest point, they remember their quest for vengeance. Working as one, the Turtles beat Shredder to a pulp, but he fights back, calling Donatello overconfident. Heads up, because things are about to get absolutely badass. That was a really bad mistake, because Leonardo then moves in for the kill. Donnie's overconfident? Perhaps he is, but perhaps not. Leo drives his katana straight through him, avenging all those wrongs the Shredder committed years ago. The Turtles give him a chance to regain his honor by taking his own life, but still he fights back, trying to detonate a thermite grenade. Without remorse, Donatello throws his stick at Shredder, blows him off the roof, exploding him into a million bits. Their mission is accomplished, and just like that, a legend was born. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They strike hard and fade away into the night. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. For me, this was an instant masterpiece. And I will admit, as the issues go on, the Turtles do change, but it's definitely not for the worst. In issue 2, we get the introduction of April O'Neil, who is white by the way, contrary to all the fools who say otherwise. And then we also get an epic sci-fi war that the Turtles get brought into, all the while paying tribute to classic sci-fi like Star Wars and Blade Runner. It seems that there's a common misconception. The Turtles still stay gritty, and they never hesitate to take a life. To be honest, I do need to read a bit more of the Turtles, but from what I've read, I do regard them as some of my favorite characters in comics. And by what I've seen from the City at War storyline, it looks like it only gets better. I know I mentioned this in my last video as well, but there is an alternative to just reading manga. TMNT is as good as any manga, if not better. It's just so sad to see what the Turtles have become. We had a small glimmer of hope with The Last Ronin, which I haven't read yet, but that looks like the only good TMNT media in recent years. The other IDW comics went from regular Turtles stories into flaming pieces of trash with a female member of the TMNT, which is retarded by the way, and we also got some painful queer love stories.
Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Then you have Rise of the TMNT and Mutant Mayhem, which are for fake fans of these characters. Race Swapped April, Homo Splinter, and the Turtles being depicted as these rap-loving, durag-wearing kids. This is ridiculously cringe. I could talk about it for hours. Stop hijacking well-known characters and saying that they are black-coded. What does that even mean? As much as you want them to be, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are not black. So trust me, go back and read some of the Mirage Comics. You won't be sorry. They're some of the best in the entire medium. If you agreed, let me know. And if you disagreed, go complain to your boyfriend.
I ain't no goddamn son of